Colleen, even in her real life, is talking about sadness or pain or trauma. There's also a dry humor and a sense of levity and wit and joy and love.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, for years the darlings of Hollywood, embodying effortless, cool, and enviable success, now find themselves in a precarious position. Their carefully constructed image of witty charm and red carpet royalty is facing an unprecedented challenge. A staggering $400 million lawsuit looms, threatening not just their finances, but something perhaps even more valuable in Hollywood, their carefully cultivated reputations. Recent court decisions have landed blows against them, suggesting this isn't just a fleeting scandal, but a potentially career-altering crisis. Blake Lively's once seemingly invincible career, built on blockbuster roles and fashion icon status, is unraveling with alarming speed, and the catalyst for this dramatic downfall, a single, ill-fated movie promotion that ignited a firestorm of controversy.
A lot of it's my real life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some.
Wait, that's kind of amazing. So you have something of Gigi's in the movie.
Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new.
Wait, which one? Now I want to think of the scene.
Oh, I'm wearing her stuff all over it.
Oh, really?
Tons of like Bodhi, which is with the suit now that I'm wearing is Bodhi. It was meant for my husband, but I borrowed it.
His suit?
It was meant for him to wear, but it's so pretty. Look at it. You guys are not getting it in the shot.
It Ends With Us was meant to be a guaranteed hit, a poignant adaptation of Colleen Hoover's deeply emotional novel. The book resonated with millions for its raw portrayal of complex relationships and the cycle of abuse, a story demanding sensitivity and nuance. However, the marketing campaign spearheaded by Blake Lively completely missed the mark, presenting the film as a lighthearted romantic comedy. Fans, deeply connected to the book's serious themes, were not just disappointed, they were actively angered. The promotional materials, awash in floral patterns and pastel hues, felt like a grotesque trivialization of the story's dark core. Lively's public appearances and social media posts further exacerbated the disconnect, projecting a breezy, almost celebratory tone completely at odds with the narrative's heavy subject matter. Instead of acknowledging the growing wave of criticism and adjusting her approach, Lively seemed to double down on the tone-deaf marketing. She seamlessly integrated promotions for her personal brands, her hair care line, her alcohol company, and even designer jeans into interviews and social media posts about the film, further blurring the lines and intensifying the perception that she was prioritizing personal gain over the film's message. This wasn't just a PR misstep, it was a profound misjudgment that ignited a public relations nightmare, one that quickly spiraled into something far more serious.
But I was like just tracking him down, and then I finally got to read the script, and the script was a thriller. So that was a little confusing to me because he's like such a funny director.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know, what is this? Because the script is definitely like a twisting, turning, intense thriller. Is it a comedy or a thriller? And he said, yes. So then every day on set, I was like, is today a comedy or is it a thriller?
It's a good mix
and
of both.
like, yeah, it's like really kind of over the top and campy and trashy and fun and like, kind of like my outfit, I guess.
In a dramatic escalation, Blake Lively launched a preemptive legal strike, going on the offensive and suing director Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios. Her accusations were nothing short of explosive, painting a picture of a hostile and toxic work environment. She alleged a pattern of serious misconduct and inappropriate behavior directed at her personally, creating an unsafe and damaging atmosphere on set. Beyond the immediate claims of mistreatment, Lively further asserted that Baldoni and his production company orchestrated a calculated smear campaign intentionally designed to destroy her hard-earned reputation. To bolster her claims, she pointed to a New York Times article that appeared to cast Baldoni in a villainous light, portraying him as the aggressor in this unfolding Hollywood drama. The publication of this article sent shockwaves through the industry, immediately triggering severe repercussions for Baldoni. His talent agency WME, one of the most powerful in Hollywood, swiftly dropped him as a client, a devastating blow in a relationship-driven industry. His podcast, a platform he had carefully cultivated, was abruptly canceled, silencing his voice and removing a key avenue for professional growth. Perhaps most damagingly, lucrative film deals, projects that were in development and poised to propel his career forward, vanished overnight, leaving him in a professional wasteland. Justin Baldoni's Baldoni's entire career trajectory, painstakingly built over years of work, suddenly teetered on the brink of collapse, all stemming from the weight of Lively's public allegations and the ensuing media firestorm. However, with the legal battle lines drawn and lawsuits flying in both directions, a critical question emerged. Was this the full, unvarnished truth, or was there a more complex and potentially darker narrative at play?
It's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
Justin Baldoni, facing the potential destruction of his career and reputation, refused to become a silent victim. He launched a vigorous and unequivocal counterattack, vehemently denying every accusation leveled against him. Absolutely not, he insisted, rejecting any claims of defamation, misconduct, or smear tactics. Instead, Baldoni flipped the script, alleging that Blake Lively herself was the one engaging in manipulative tactics, accusing her of weaponizing the serious issue of workplace misconduct as a calculated maneuver to seize control of the It Ends With Us franchise. According to Baldoni's explosive counterclaims, this legal battle wasn't about justice or workplace safety. It was a ruthless power play centered on control and financial gain. He alleges that Lively, along with her husband Ryan Reynolds, orchestrated a clandestine plan to wrest the rights to It Starts With Us, the highly anticipated sequel directly from him and Wayfarer Studios. Their alleged motive: total and unbridled creative control over the entire lucrative film franchise. Baldoni claims they viewed him not as a collaborator or partner, but as a mere obstacle standing in the way of their ambitions, someone to be strategically removed from the equation. The legal arena transformed into a high-stakes battleground, where reputations, fortunes, and the future of a major film franchise hung precariously in the balance, with accusations and counter-accusations escalating the drama to unprecedented levels.
I think the idea that people think that they know you, I think because of how intrusive media is these days, people care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you.
The legal proceedings quickly intensified, with the latest courtroom skirmish focusing on a highly contentious gag order. Lively's legal team, in a move signaling their desire to control the narrative, desperately sought to silence Brian Friedman, Baldoni's outspoken and strategically aggressive attorney. They accused Friedman of actively defaming Lively in the court of public opinion, alleging he was intentionally leaking damaging information and manipulating media coverage to sway public sentiment against her. However, Friedman, a seasoned legal professional known for his assertive tactics, refused to be silenced or intimidated. He stood his ground, arguing vehemently against the gag order and asserting his right to publicly defend his client. In a fiery legal response, Friedman justified his public statements by pointing to Lively's alleged actions, claiming he was compelled to respond publicly only after Lively herself had purportedly leaked confidential legal documents to the New York Times, the very publication that had initially amplified the scandal with its December expose. The legal principle of freedom of the press and public access to court records further complicated Lively's request. Federal courts are inherently hesitant to impose gag orders, recognizing the public's right to be informed about legal proceedings and the media's role in disseminating that information. Ultimately, the judge sided against Lively, denying the gag order, a significant early victory for Baldoni and a clear indication that this legal battle would be fought fiercely in the public eye, with both sides free to present their case and shape public perception. This denial marked a critical turning point, signaling that the courtroom drama would not be confined to legal filings, but would spill out into the public arena, intensifying the scrutiny and pressure on both Lively and Reynolds.
I mean, I internalized that as opportunity. We had such a responsibility to this audience to deliver something and to have the opportunity to deliver something for a passionate group of people.
Yes.
As someone who is so deeply passionate myself, I was so excited about that. I would so much rather have that than people who are indifferent.
Blase.
Over a recent weekend, the legal war took an unexpected and dramatic turn, largely orchestrated by Brian Friedman's strategic brilliance. Baldoni's attorney, opting for a bold and unconventional approach, unleashed a digital weapon, a dedicated website meticulously constructed to present his client's case directly to the public. This wasn't just a simple web page, it was a carefully curated online dossier, a digital arsenal packed with what Friedman claimed was explosive and irrefutable evidence. The website served as a central repository for timelines meticulously charting the unfolding events, text message exchanges revealing private communications, email threads exposing alleged strategies and intentions, video clips capturing potentially incriminating statements, and legal documents laid bare for public scrutiny, all meticulously organized and presented to paint a cohesive and compelling narrative. The evidence, as presented by Friedman, pointed to one potentially devastating conclusion. Blake Lively allegedly weaponized false allegations of workplace misconduct as a calculated and cynical strategy to seize complete control of It Ends With Us. The meticulously compiled evidence purportedly revealed a pattern of behavior. Each time Lively encountered resistance or didn't achieve her desired outcome during the film's production, she allegedly escalated her accusations against Wayfarer Studios, Justin Baldoni, and co-producer Jamie Heath, using these allegations as leverage to exert control and influence. Adding a further layer of complexity, Friedman highlighted the fact that Lively herself had reportedly acknowledged that all alleged misconduct abruptly ceased once filming resumed in 2024, raising questions about the timing and motivations behind her continued accusations. Now, however, she was allegedly attempting to shift the blame once again, attempting to attribute the intense public backlash she faced for her tone-deaf marketing comments about domestic violence to Justin Baldoni, further suggesting a pattern of deflection and manipulation. Friedman's publicly accessible timeline and evidentiary website painted a brutal and unflattering picture, suggesting a calculated long game of leveraging serious accusations to gain power, control, and ultimately crush any perceived opposition. The moment public criticism landed squarely on her for her own marketing missteps, she allegedly pivoted, strategically flipping the narrative to portray herself as the victim and redirecting blame towards Baldoni, raising serious questions about her credibility and motivations. Public skepticism surrounding Blake Lively's narrative began to solidify as attention turned to her own words, specifically unearthed clips from past podcast appearances. In these recordings, Lively seemingly offered a strikingly different account of her involvement in It Ends With Us, one that directly contradicted her claims of victimization and lack of control. She described her experience on set using the metaphor of drinking from a fire hose, a phrase often used to convey being overwhelmed by a deluge of information and responsibility. However, in the context of her other statements, this phrase took on a different, more revealing connotation. She detailed how she allegedly took it upon herself to rewrite scenes, unilaterally made decisions regarding wardrobe, and essentially began calling the shots as if she were the ultimate authority on the production, despite lacking the official titles or contractual agreements to justify such extensive control. Crucially, Lively was not hired as a writer, editor, producer, or director. Her role was strictly that of an actress, albeit with a largely symbolic vanity executive producer credit, a common Hollywood practice often granted to A-list stars. Yet, according to Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios, she acted as if she held ultimate creative power, behaving in their view like a wrecking ball, disrupting established protocols, seizing control of key creative aspects, implementing changes without proper authorization, and consistently positioning herself as the de facto leader of the entire production. The existence of video and audio evidence capturing Lively making these admissions became a significant point of contention, directly undermining her legal claims and fueling the growing perception that her narrative was carefully constructed and potentially disingenuous. These unearthed statements opened her up to accusations of overreach and potential breaches of contract, significantly weakening her legal position and casting a shadow over her claims of being a victim in this unfolding drama.
Well, I actually knew of the film before I knew of Colleen's book, which is, I know, a unique entry point, but I think because I just have 1,000 children, I, have missed all of pop culture, and her significant impact in the world of books. I mean, so many of her books are on the New York Times bestseller. I mean, it's crazy.
To further substantiate their claims of Lively's alleged overreach and disruptive behavior, Baldoni and Wayfarer Wayfarer Studios pointed to specific examples of her actions during production, focusing on the wardrobe and editing departments. Regarding wardrobe, the studio asserted that a comprehensive wardrobe for the character of Lily had already been meticulously planned and purchased, adhering to the film's budget and creative vision. However, Lively allegedly disregarded the pre-approved wardrobe entirely, unilaterally scrapping the studio's selections and insisting on bringing in her own personal stylist. This decision, they claimed, led to a staggering budget overrun, with the wardrobe expenses ballooning by an alleged $500,000. $500,000 directly attributed to Lively's insistence on imposing her own stylistic vision. Beyond wardrobe, the studio also highlighted the highly unusual circumstances surrounding the film's editor. Lively allegedly handpicked her own editor, a choice that raised eyebrows throughout the production team due to the editor's limited experience in feature films. In fact, the editor in question had reportedly never worked on a major Hollywood movie before, with his most prominent credit being a music video for Taylor Swift, a vastly different scale and genre of project. Despite this lack of relevant experience, Lively allegedly insisted on placing this relatively untested editor in charge of editing a major Hollywood film, a decision that deviated significantly from standard industry practices and raised concerns about the film's final quality and cohesion. These specific examples, the wardrobe overhaul and the unconventional editor hire, served as tangible illustrations of Lively's alleged pattern of disregarding established protocols, exceeding her contractual authority, and prioritizing her personal preferences over the established filmmaking process, further bolstering the narrative that she was attempting to exert undue control over the production. But perhaps the most shocking accusation of all was yet to be revealed, an allegation that went beyond overreach and pointed towards a potentially deliberate act of sabotage. Perhaps one of the most damning pieces of alleged evidence against Blake Lively is the claim that she attempted to coerce Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios into issuing a forced public apology, a statement seemingly crafted to deflect blame from herself and onto them. This alleged maneuver suggests a calculated strategy to manipulate public perception and control the narrative surrounding the escalating controversy. According to court filings, on August 12, 2024, Lively and Ryan Reynolds allegedly sent a pre-prepared statement to Baldoni's team demanding its release. The proposed statement, as revealed in court documents, read, "It Ends With Us was a troubled production which we take full accountability for. We are very sorry to everyone we caused upset to privately and publicly. Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, and the entire cast and crew LED with professionalism every step of the way, and any negativity aimed at them is ours to own." Analyzing the carefully constructed wording of this statement reveals its potential manipulative intent. While superficially appearing to take accountability, the statement subtly shifts blame onto the production itself being troubled, rather than acknowledging any specific missteps or wrongdoing on Lively's part. It also proactively shields Lively, Colleen Hoover, and the cast crew from any criticism, effectively positioning Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios as the sole source of negativity and problems. The request for Baldoni and Wayfarer to release this statement is presented as a calculated PR tactic, designed to absolve Lively of responsibility for the mounting backlash she was facing due to her tone-deaf marketing and alleged on-set behavior. By forcing Baldoni to issue this apology, she could potentially rewrite the narrative, making it appear as though the studio was admitting fault for the entire controversy, thereby diverting attention from her own actions and salvaging her public image. However, Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios refused to comply, reportedly recognizing the statement for what it allegedly was, a manipulative attempt to scapegoat them and distort the truth. This explosive legal battle between Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni / Wayfarer Studios extends far beyond a typical Hollywood feud. It has the potential to become a watershed moment, exposing uncomfortable truths about power dynamics, accountability, and the carefully constructed facades of celebrity in the entertainment industry. If the allegations against Lively prove to be substantiated, it could trigger a significant reckoning within Hollywood, forcing a re-evaluation of the unchecked influence wielded by A-list stars and the potential consequences of abusing that power. The case raises crucial questions about workplace conduct on film sets, the responsibilities of actors beyond their performance, and the ethical implications of leveraging fame and influence for personal gain at the expense of others' careers and reputations. For Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, the stakes are astronomically high. Beyond the immediate financial implications of the $400 million lawsuit, their carefully curated public image, built on relatability and charm, is severely severely threatened. A sustained negative narrative could impact their future projects, endorsements, and overall standing within the industry. Hollywood, while often forgiving, can also be ruthless when faced with perceived scandals of this magnitude, particularly those involving allegations of manipulation and abuse of power. The outcome of this legal battle and the court of public opinion will likely determine not just the fate of It Ends With Us franchise, but potentially the long-term trajectory of Lively and Reynolds' careers. The industry and audiences worldwide are watching closely, waiting to see if this case will indeed become a catalyst for change, forcing a long overdue conversation about power, accountability, and the true cost of fame in Hollywood. The trial date, potentially fast-tracked to an earlier date than initially anticipated in March 2026, looms large, promising further revelations and dramatic courtroom confrontations. The final verdict, in every sense of the word, remains to be seen. What do you predict will be the ultimate fallout from this Hollywood showdown? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned for more updates as this story continues to unfold. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to remain informed on every twist and turn in this captivating legal drama. Until our next update.